Hi, it's Robert Schwemmer. Welcome to my channel where we explore from the air, underwater, on the land. But today here in Southern California where it's a bit windy, we're going to explore the underside of a 2021 Trailhawk WK2 Grand Cherokee. The transmission is exposed on these vehicles. They have skid plates in the front axle, transfer case, gas tanks, but they don't come with a factory one of the transmissions. So I bought a cheap product. I really like it. It looks well built. The instructions are well laid out, a lot of visuals. And I'm gonna go ahead and install it and see if I can pull this off myself. Went and bought a Jack as my assistant. Maybe I'll call it Jack. Anyhow, enjoy the journey. I hope we both learned something. Thanks. Features of this steel plate, besides being forged in Australia, it's high strength steel, high strength to weight ratio, recessed mounting bolts, E-coat, durable powder coat finish, drainage slots, easy installation. The difficulty is 2 out of 10. We will find that out. Specifications basically is 6.7 kilograms or 15 pounds installed. You also get 3 M8 30 millimeter high tensile bolts along with lock washers, and then you get a 4-gram pouch of anti-seize. But I think I'm going to use the Permatex so I can remove this product. And don't forget, you get the stickers too. And since I'm doing this solo, I thought I'd get another pair of hands from a 2-ton Jack. I actually picked this up off Amazon. It's a low profile extended floor jack, so not only can I use it on the Trailhawk, but I can use it on my Corvette, because right now it's pumped up, but it will lower down to, it looks like 2.5 inches, and then it'll raise up to 2 feet. So that's just something I added to my arsenal, not a requirement for the installation. But if you decide you want to get this floor jack, I'll actually put a link in the description, because it's really got great ratings on Amazon. I've always wanted one, and saves me getting a second person or having someone else install this, which would be, of course, more than what the Jack costs. So altogether, the chief plate ran just north of $200 with shipping and tax. That's California state tax, and of course that's US dollars. I think it's $179 net before shipping and tax. I'm really impressed with the product, just the feel of it, the weight. I don't even want to scratch it, but I know that's what it's designed for. So install this. I'm going to take advantage of the quadro lift on the vehicle and get it up a little bit higher so I can have easier access underneath the car. So they say to remove this is the Mopar axle. It's, you know, factory skid plate, but the 2 rear 13 millimeter bolts. Remove those 2. Leave the, man, it's so clean under here. Been on many dirt roads with this vehicle, but apparently I have not made contact. I got 3,000 miles on it, so it's pretty clean. Won't be that way forever. Got a little bit of dirt. Been out on the Carrizo. Oh, car's talking to me, always making noises. But yeah, took it out on the Carrizo Plain National Monument. Done, gosh, several hundred miles out there on dirt roads. Nothing too challenging. I might have to invest in one of those little impacts. Speed this up. And also take caution, don't run the vehicle just prior to doing the work so you don't burn yourself on the exhaust. Still a little heat there, but not too bad. Concrete's a little cool, down to about 40 degrees last night. Not too bad. Get up to the 70s. So this is driver's side. As you can see, I've put the floor jack underneath it just lightly. And there are 3 factory 17mm head bolts that we have to remove. And then there's one in the center and then one on passenger side. 1, 2, 3. They're snug, but not too bad. Not sure if the factory puts any anti-seize or Loctite on these. Certainly a good idea. Remember back in my off-road days, we had a special 3M, like a silicone. It was bright yellow. And we did every nut and bolt that went into that vehicle. I'm really going to like this floor jack. Really easy to maneuver. Ah, there it goes. Certainly don't want to strip the head of a bolt. That would add a couple more hours to the job. Make sure you use that anti-seize that Chief provides when you have bolts anywhere near a heated exhaust system. Okay, so we have one last bolt. Here's that last. Oh. Oh. Whew. Okay. Those last two are a little more of a challenge. So right now we are resting totally on the jack, which is really nice having that second hand. So it's a lot less awkward. Plus I'd like to know the weight of this plate. It's the brightest color I've seen of a floor jack. I wonder if it glows in the dark. Slowly. All right. So I've decided I'm going to use the anti-seize product that came with Chief. That's why I'm wearing the gloves there after finding those last two bolts in pretty tight for a car that's only got 3,000 miles on it. The transmission plate forward, you need to line it up with the two screws that actually goes over the plate when you have a Mopar factory axle plate, which I do. Really liking the extended reach on this jack. So we want to line up with the brake back here after we get the front line. If I can get and we're using Chief's bolts for the front here. We're not using the Mopar factory ones. It's nice that they put these handles here that you can just kind of scoot in, scoot out. Lesson learned here. I was using a deep socket. And in the deep socket, that's not enough thread pattern to capture the U-nut. So what I had to do is just use a standard 13 socket, and that gives you a lot more bite. A little alignment, loosening the bolts on the front axle plate helped. Chief has got this thing lying just perfectly, and there's no wiggle room. Took a little while. I used a Phillips head screwdriver to kind of line it up. So right now I've got them cinched up a little bit. They're not tight. And then I'm going to go back and do the bolt back here over the plate, cross plate there. We'll have to install the rear plate that we removed for the transfer case. Grab my handles, slide on out. Love this Quadra lift. Using Chief provided 13mm bolt. Put the lock washer on. It's kind of like a double lock washer. This time we're going to use the larger washer and a nut. We're going to, from what we learned before, not a deep socket, but a standard socket, because we got to go all the way up in there. Of course, we're going to have to align this hole. So I can feel it there. Easy access over this bar here. And we'll have to use a 13mm wrench on top. And I'm just going to hand snug this for now. Keep it kind of loose. Line up the transfer case so it fits into that slot in the transmission plate. There we go. All right. Don't want to get it too tight there. Anti-seize. So right now they're all going to be fairly loose, but it was recommended by Chief that the 4 Mopar bolts that they get torqued at not 40 but 41 foot-pounds. Right now I'm just going to start them. Get them all lined up. Still kind of loose, so I can finish the last bolt, and then we'll go around, snug everything up, and then we'll do the 41 foot-pounds of torque with the torque wrench. If you don't have a torque wrench, Tighten them, but don't over tighten. One, two, three, four, and then five. All five of the bolts are in. Well, that looks nice. Woohoo! Gonna feel better. That is worth its $200. Thank you, Chief. You built good products, good instructions. By the way, instructions don't come with the steel plate, but you'll find those online, PDF. I haven't found any YouTube videos for this, other than earlier models. As I indicated that this is a 2021 Trailhawk, WK2. Are no plastic skid plates to remove. Get the torque wrench. Don't know what the difference between 40 and 41 is. So these are all the five. More apart, and then we'll tighten this one up. We'll tighten those two up, and then we'll go forward, and we'll be done. Wow, that's nice. Feels so much better. This is a 13 millimeter. This one with the washer nut. Start here. The 13 millimeter wrench on the back side, easy to get over this bracket right here. Well, the wind's still kicking up pretty good. It's a good thing we spent the morning working under the car. I thought it went really well. I'm really impressed with the Chief product. Heavy steel. Installation instructions were very clear, a lot of visuals. One thing they did indicate installing the 4 factory bolts for the transfer case plate. There's actually 5. If you see that you've got 2 bolts left over, don't panic. Those are the ones that were in the axle plate that we replaced with the chief bolts. I really kind of like the little rag they provide. I'm thinking maybe a red stocking hat be appropriate when I get the rock rails, since that's about a $900 investment. But yeah, the plate was just north of $200, and it is built so well. The installation was pretty straightforward, pretty smooth. I hope you learned something from the installation. The only thing that I found that I needed to correct was changing the socket out, just to get more thread, more bite in installing the transmission plate. But it all went well, along with my assistant Jack, the new floor jack. So I'm really pleased with the end results, and I hope you learned something too as we explored the underneath of a WK2 2021.